Good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to this thing that I do called Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor, and today I am doing another Fatal Friday video. Fatal Friday being the series I do where I go into the Kombat League for Mortal Kombat 1, and using the main roster and cameo fighters for that game, I go after their unique finishers like their Brutalities and their Fatalities. This time around I am using Quan Chi and the cameo Scorpion again, and I am going after Quan Chi's Brutality the Nibbler. And as much as I would love for that to be some kind of a Futurama reference, the Nibbler is actually another Brutality version of Quan Chi's skull projectile. Now, the last time I used Quan Chi in one of these videos, I also got a skull-related projectile for him. That one was Skull Yum. Now, that was the Brutality version of his standard skull projectile. This time around, we're going after the Brutality version that requires you to meter burn the skull projectile. I'm not sure why exactly they gave him two brutalities for the same attack, just one of them being meter burned, but sure, why not? Let's go ahead and make that happen. Now, between the two projectiles, there are two differences that come to mind. Now, the regular version is just a small skull projectile that Quan Chi throws at his opponent. The two differences come in the enhanced version. In the enhanced version, the skull is much larger and harder to avoid. And on top of being larger, it also destroys the projectiles that are thrown by your opponent. So if you're in a bit of a zoning war, that big-ass skull is going to help you out quite a bit. And our opponent that we're going to be going against in the Kombat League while going for this brutality is going to be somebody using Kitana and also using the cameo Scorpion. So yay, double Scorpions. And I think I have said this in pretty much every single Quan Chi video, but I did not wait very long to take him into the Kombat League, so I was still kind of figuring him out on the fly. And you can definitely tell if you saw my record before this fight started. I think I was one game over breaking even. I think I had 9 wins and 8 losses. My opponent, on the other hand, was not having any sort of difficulty, apparently. They had 8 wins and 2 losses. So they were doing pretty well for themselves. And on that note, I kind of had my work cut out for me using a brand new character against somebody who was actually winning. Although, once I saw that my opponent was using Kitana, I felt kind of good, because if I could pull off a victory in the fights, and I've said this in other videos too, Kitana users have a tendency to run away from you and just throw projectiles like the entire time. It's like Kitana users and Liu Kang users. So that being said, if they're running away the entire time, any sort of distance requirements I need for my projectile-related brutality, well, I'm probably going to get them pretty easily. So yeah, anytime I have to get one of those projectile-related brutalities and I see Kitana, I get a little bit happy. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, one of the last projectile brutalities I got was for Scorpion, and now that I'm thinking about it, that was also against a Kitana user. I'm starting to get the feeling that Kitana might be my preferred opponent to go against whenever I'm going for one of these brutalities that have a distance requirement. But yeah, despite my opponent doing substantially better than me based on their record, the very first match went very favorably for me. I ended up winning 2 straight rounds to take the first match, and now all I need is one more match under my belt and we are going to win the entire thing. Which at this point, I only need one more round to pull off. Then again, I did not go for the brutality in the very first match, so that also means that I only have one more round, assuming I win this, to go for the brutality again. So the game plan is pretty much the same as it always is when it comes to these projectile-related brutalities. Get their life super low, run away, and start throwing skulls, or whatever projectile you need. And at this point, my opponent's life is almost there. I really only need one more good combo to weaken them to the point to where that projectile will do just enough damage to kill them, and then activate the brutality.
Brutality. Quan Chi wins.
And there it is. That was the Nibbler brutality for Quan Chi. And we end up taking this one with a clean sweep. I did not lose a single round, a very decisive victory until the very end. That also means this is going to be a pretty short video overall. But yeah, that was the brutality I wanted to accomplish. My opponent tried getting away from me and throwing a projectile at me, but like I mentioned earlier, this meter burn projectile of mine, it destroys any projectiles that my opponent is throwing in its path. So yeah, that worked out pretty good for me. And if you enjoyed that brutality, hang around, you get the opportunity to see it one more time before we part ways on this Fatal Friday. But yeah, with that brutality accomplished, there's really not too much more to do in this video. Just thank you for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to check out some of the other finisher videos I have on the Thor's Entertainment channel. All of those can be found under my Mortal Kombat 1 online playlist. But that is going to be it for me. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Quan Chi wins.